All right. Welcome into this edition of the Milwaukee Bucks on Tap podcast. Corey Mullen, Evan Byrne. Evan, how we doing?
Can't complain. Outside of the Bucks, not too bad. Thanksgiving's tomorrow. Super excited.
Yes, and on behalf of all of us here on the Milwaukee Bucks on Tap podcast, we do want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving. It truly is. As much as Thanksgiving gets skipped over, because it does get skipped over. Like, let's be honest, after Halloween, people are just right into Christmas. And I'm like, whoa. There's still Thanksgiving. That's still like a great holiday. Thanksgiving is an elite holiday. Now, I will say this, turkey is very overrated. I don't know if I've met one person who's been like, as much as we glorify turkey, it's not great. And I understand what people are saying about, you have to cook it right. No, turkey in and of itself, I've had it. A lot of Thanksgivings. It's not like there are other, like I think the other stuff around the turkey is great, like the stuffing, the mashed potatoes, the biscuits. Like my aunt makes a mac and cheese too, and that's great. But no, the turkey is very much like it's not great. Even throwing the desserts in there, like just turkey on Thanksgiving is not like it's there, but it shouldn't. We shouldn't glorify it as much as we should.
It's not the staple.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on turkey?
I only have it for Thanksgiving. Like we do turkey on Thanksgiving, and we used to also do it on Christmas. But we've shied away from it on Christmas, and my mom makes lasagna for Christmas. It's pretty good. But no, I'm a big supporter of turkey, but you throw in the mashed potatoes, you throw in the rolls, you throw in corn, you throw in mac and cheese. You got a lot of support. Right now, Giannis is the turkey, all right?
He's the main course.
And we're lacking the support on the plate.
But I will say this, quick point aside, I do think that lasagna is very underrated when it comes to Christmas. Like when people think of Christmas, they think of a ham or anything like that. But like lasagna, very underrated for Christmas.
I'm not a ham fan. I shy away from ham. No, I'm the only one in my family who doesn't rock with ham.
All right, let's get right into it. Milwaukee played on Saturday against the Detroit Pistons. They got blown out. And not even to discredit them because the Pistons are razor hot right now.
Mm-hmm. That was their 12th win in a row.
Now, at that point, that was their 12th win in a row. I don't know if they've lost since then. I have not looked at their schedule. But what I can tell you from this game last week was obviously Giannis didn't play. Milwaukee shot 46% from three. Cade Cunningham had 29 points. But, I just think the biggest story of this game was like Milwaukee early on, they just got down double digits, weren't really able to recover. I just think that, Detroit is younger, they're hungrier, they can defend, they play great defense. And I just don't think that, and I'm literally going to keep reiterating this point, Milwaukee just doesn't have any shot creation on that roster outside of, I guess Giannis, but I'm talking like they don't have like a Middleton where they could get a guy who can get into his bag, so to speak. And, I think that's what's hurting this team. And I just think that when you don't score the ball enough and you're not great on defense, this is the score that's going to occur. And Detroit, at one point Milwaukee beat Detroit like 12 straight times. And, it's just not like – I just don't. I don't know what much more I can add because it's just kind of the same stuff. Now, granted, Detroit only had one offensive rebound, so that wasn't an issue in this game. It's just like when you don't have a good team and a good support system around Giannis, and because right now I think that the bench and the other stars or the other players around Cade Cunningham are a lot better than the ones in Milwaukee. Because if you look, right, because you got young guys like Jay Ivey, which, you got a Star Thompson, you got Tobias, good veteran player, you got Jalen Duran, As I mentioned, Cade Cunningham. You got Duncan Robinson, great three-point shooter. Paul Reed, Ron Holland, young guy. Karis LeVert, good solid player. Denise Jenkins, I believe he's a two-way guy. So, I mean, when you look, and then when you look at Bucks, it's like, all right, Kuzma, could drop in 13. BP, Bobby Portis has actually been, last two games, he's been really great offensively. Ryan Rollins, again, he's been developing really well offensively this season. He's really improved in that area. But outside of that, it's just like you look at it, it's just like, all right, Jericho Sims. You get Gary Trent coming off the bench now. Gary Harris, Ajax. And now, with Giannis being out, they've had to kind of log Ajax like heavy minutes. And, I watch him and I'm like, why? Like, Ajax should still be receiving minutes. I don't understand why they do this hot and cold thing with him, where it's like sometimes they play him and sometimes they don't. Because, look, I think that when Ajax is out on the floor, he makes an impact. He still does fall a lot, but I think that he makes impactful plays along with Jericho Sims. So I do think that Doc should play those guys a little more than he should, and not just because he's forced to play them, but because those two guys make a defensive impact when they're out on the floor, more so than I can say about Bobby Portis.
Yeah, I feel like with Andre, he was like, didn't play, and then all of a sudden, boom, playing, and he played great, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared. It's like, cool, where did that, I'm sure it's frustrating to go from bench pretty much not getting any minutes to starting and being an effective starter, or guy coming right off the bench to just garbage minutes or getting thrown out there because you got multiple injuries. But no, I'm still a huge Andre Jackson Jr. stan until he just completely shows that he's can't play, which he can. I feel like he should get deserving minutes, but like you said earlier with the Giannis out, no one that creates shots. I mean, it used to be Giannis is out. Oh, we still have Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton. Oh, Drew Holiday's out. We still have Chris and Giannis. And there's always two of them, or even you could trust Drew Holiday or you could trust just Chris Middleton, when you had two guys out like that. But yeah, now it's like Miles Turner is essentially like your second best, big name. And it's a lot different when your second best guy is a center, not a guard or even a forward who's going to be bringing the ball up primarily. But no, a lot of it again is just, you even mentioned the offensive rebounds. They didn't need to get offensive rebounds because they made 63% of their shots. They destroyed us every quarter. I felt like there was no way of really coming back. Even the third quarter, they only scored 25 points and they still won by double digits. Not really sure what it's, obviously I can't judge it until Giannis and Kevin Porter Jr. are back. But again, it still is with Giannis. They've been losing, and this is only their third 5-game losing streak since 2016 and 2017, which is absurd. But yeah, no, right now they're out of the play-in right now, so I'm hoping they can kind of turn it around a little bit. But yeah, it doesn't look good. And even a trade, I've seen rumors of trades of Bucks should really look at LaMelo Ball and Ja Morant. I'm like, what is that going to do? That's just going to get, again, more starter heavy and ball heavy guys. So it's not going to change anything. And, but no, just kind of curious on, again, I'm judging them hard now, but I won't judge them until they're a few games in back to with KPJ and Giannis himself, but still is very, very frustrating when you are 8-10 and you're behind the Celtics, who are out their starter this entire year. So we'll see how it goes. We're still early in the season, but it's a little nerve-wracking.
It is. And, and I've said this before, I don't fully trust Doc Rivers to get us out of this hole.
No.
Let's just call it for what it is. Okay. His tenure as Bucks coach hasn't been great. Right. We could say for what it is, his first year as he took over from Adrian Griffin, he didn't have Giannis. Giannis got hurt before the playoffs started. So, and then, we had Giannis, and then Dame missed a couple games, then Dame came back, and then he tore his Achilles. So I get the injury aspect of it. I just don't think that even with those two guys, I don't think that would have made a difference because I just don't know if John Horst has done a great job of making what you need to do, okay? Because everybody wants to have stars, right? And that's fine, but like you got to make some good moves around the margins too. And I don't necessarily think Milwaukee has done that particularly well. Like, okay, they got AJ Green, they got Gary Trent. Kuzma's been iffy. So, I mean, my question is like the role players that Milwaukee has acquired. I don't know if they've had that one guy to be like that's like, you know, Connor said back in 2021, right? Where, you know, they've had a guy who come off the bench and can immediately like make an impact. I don't know if they've had that. You know, Kevin Porter Jr. was great last year, but you know, now he's hurt. And now Ryan Rollins is like taken over and he's done like so much better. And I would keep him in the starting lineup. But, you know, it's just like, it's just the problem is they just don't have enough scoring. And I don't even know if Kevin Porter Jr. coming back is going to make that much of a difference. Because he can score the basketball. But I just don't know if the other guys around him can like score at a consistent clip. So, I mean, it's just more to it than just Giannis being out because I just don't know. Like, Giannis not being there, just nobody else can score. So, and I've seen Giannis put together good games, a lot of good games. But it's just like, you know, that's what would concern me though, is the fact that Giannis is out and they just cannot score the basketball. They have not won a game since Giannis left. That's a concern to me. Like, the fact that they banked on Miles Turner. And again, I think Miles Turner is a good complementary piece. Do I think he should be Giannis's running mate? No. No, he's not. He's a good complementary piece, but I don't think he should be like, you know, like a Giannis Miles Turner dynamic duo. Like, no, that should not. Like, and if that was their thought, that's a pretty small-minded thought, to be quite honest with you, because I do think that, and Miles Turner's not putting up bad numbers; he's averaging a little over 12 points a game, but he shouldn't. But I can't rely on him though to be our main scorer, and he really hasn't been, to be honest with you. He's put up some like single-digit numbers, so I don't know if I could sit here and, you know. Because, again, he could score, but, like, you know, on the defensive side, he's not providing me anything. Like, so, I mean, that's just kind of my concern. And, again, we have it for 4 years. So, you know, it was like, when we got him, it was huge. But, like, you know, without him, it's just like, you know, ugh, just not great. And it's not great to lose to the Pistons by that much. I understand they're good, but it's like, you know, allowing 129 points to Detroit. I mean, that's inexcusable. And, you know, a lot of this falls on Doc. Because again, at the end of the day, the coach is supposed to be the players in the best position to succeed. And I just feel like when he doesn't have stars, like Doc Rivers is very much a average coach. Like, even with star player, like I just don't think Doc Rivers, like he's gotten so many chances in the NBA just for winning a lot of regular season games. Like, really, if you fire Doc Rivers tomorrow and he went to ESPN, nobody's gonna hire him. Why would you? Like, I just don't understand the lure in Doc Rivers that people still think he's a good coach. He's not.
Mm-hmm. Bring him out of retirement, essentially.
Yeah, literally just bringing him out of the ESPN broadcast booth to co-coach the Bucks. I was like, But that was ownership though, which honestly, to be honest with you, I don't think ownership should be involved in basketball personnel decisions. Like, I think you should leave that up to the GM. Like, what would an owner know about what coach to hire? Like, if I had it my way, okay, I wouldn't even hire Doc Rivers. I would not even like, and any NBA fan with a brain would have said the same thing. Why would you hire Doc Rivers? Why would you bring him out of the – like, nobody wants to say it, but this Bucs organization is in such disarray right now. Like, just think about it. 2023. They fire Mike Budenholzer. Okay? They get rid of Drew Holiday for Damian Lillard, which, again, I understand why you had to make that trade because Damian wanted to leave. But also, Damian didn't want to be in Milwaukee either. So you hire a brand new coach, Adrian Griffin, who, again, Kenny Atkinson was available.
Yep,
you hire a brand new coach. Oh, as it turns out, and then the brand new coach does what he's supposed to do, brings in veteran assistants, fires like one of them before the season starts, and Terry Stotts, because those two couldn't get along. And surprise, surprise, the brand new coach doesn't have the respect of his veteran players. So he gets fired. And then Doc Rivers this whole time was kind of waiting in the wings because he was serving as some sort of coaching consultant that the team brought in because he wasn't because you didn't have the respect of the team. And then Doc Rivers slinks his way in there. All right. And now look. Now this team is only won 8 games this year?
Mm-hmm.
8 games this year. And there's the rumors of Giannis wanting to leave have intensified to the point where now it just looks like he's just basically doing all the work and everybody's just picking up an A because it just looks like Giannis has to score 32 to 40 for this team to have a chance to win. And now he's hurt. And now look how this team looks. This team looks so guardable right now. There's nothing that they're doing that remotely looks like just doesn't look like, to me, it just doesn't look like a roster that you could win with. And I'm going to move on to the Blazers game because this is one of the antithesis of what I'm talking about. Milwaukee lost 115 to 103, got down double digits early, to the point where they had no shot to win that game. The game was never particularly close. Okay, Jeremy Grant scored 35 points. He came into he averaged he now has averaged 19 points a game. Okay. Jeremy Grant is not someone who should be scoring damn near a 40 piece. But this is what I'm talking about. Is this team does not defend. Okay. They don't. They were outscored in every quarter except the fourth. In which who gives a shit by that point. But, Denny Avicii, who was a cast off from Washington, scored 22. To not belong on the same floor as the Portland Trailblazers, that concerns me. That greatly concerns me. I mean, the only bright spot for this game was the fact that Bobby Portis was hot and scored 22 points, and Gary Trent scored 12. But I mean, outside of that, I mean, it was just I guess Cole Anthony scored 60, but it's just what are we I just trying to understand. Okay, they picked up 12 offensive rebounds. Milwaukee had 22 fast break points. What's it take? So really, I'm just trying to understand of what exactly happened, how Milwaukee lost by this much, and it just mainly came down to the offensive rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Blazers also went to the line 33 times. So it's just I'm just trying to really understand of how does Milwaukee look like even without Giannis playing, and with the Blazers not even have Drew Holiday or Lillard because Lillard's obviously going to be out for the year. How do you look like you don't even belong on the same floor as the Portland Trailblazers, who's supposed to be rebuilding this year? That's what doesn't make sense to me. The Blazers just blew us out. And again, they did this a couple years ago when Adrian Griffin was the coach. Well, Milwaukee got down really big.
And they came back.
But it's just how do you – and they don't even have Anthony Simons anymore. So I'm really just trying to understand how you let Jeremy Grant score 35 points. Okay. How you let the Portland Trailblazers just run you off the floor, because that's exactly what happened. The Portland Trailblazers ran Milwaukee off the floor.
I think the most frustrating part was the Bucks making a comeback. You know, they finally got like a 1-point
Yep.
lead. Bobby stayed hot with a 3-pointer, got
Yep.
everyone pumped up, and then all of a sudden, boom, like down 18-20. They had 76 in the fourth quarter. They didn't score over 30 in any of the quarters. But yeah, it's just they got no one to create a shot. Obviously, we've mentioned before, but it's like Miles Turner was 4 of 12. He shot 8 3-pointers. It's like we got 3-point shooters on our team. We do. We have AJ Green. We have 3 or 4 guys that I would trust shooting a 3-pointer over him. Over him. Like I want my center in the paint. Bobby again, great. Finally, kind of making a good comeback. But like Gary Trent, like only took 4 3-point attempts in 32 minutes. Like that's our 3-point shooter. He should be the one taking 8 3-point attempts. Same with AJ Green. He was 1 of 5. He's been very streaky this year. But yeah, it's Andre Jackson Jr. played 7 minutes. Just throw him in there. It doesn't hurt at that point. Pete Nance, it doesn't hurt. I feel like every time they play Pete Nance, all of a sudden he does well. But it's just, yeah, you got all these guys. Again, they look good on paper. And then all of a sudden, you look and it's like, what the hell happened? Like, what is going on? And it's like, you could say make a trade, but it's just like one of those things where it's like, what is that trade going to entail? At the end of the day, I feel like they have a good roster. I feel like at the end of the day, it comes down to coaching.
Yeah.
With Doc Rivers.
And
again, Doc, you can't fire him either because that'll look bad. Like I know we mentioned that in our last one. There's so much backlash, I feel like, on the players and coaching staff. I feel like does not get a lot of heat. I follow hockey. The Devils, their guys get injured so often, and people are like, why aren't the strength and conditioning coaches being talked about more? It's like these guys are fragile and they're getting hurt everywhere. It's like nothing ever comes back on coaches for any. Sometimes I'll give it that, but it's always the players are getting the backlash for it when they just look completely lost. There's no flow to the game when they're playing. It's just shoot a 3-pointer and hope it goes in. Hope it doesn't. All right, let them get the rebound, come back. Let's hope they don't score. And fun fact, it doesn't work.
It does not. Well, and the thing is, too, it's like when I was watching some of that game, like as soon as I saw Andre Jackson Jr. chucking up threes, and now granted, he only shot 4, but still, I'm like, that's a little, like, I'm sorry. If Andre Jackson Jr. throwing up threes, if that's our offense now, I'm like, we're not winning any games.
Yeah, he played 7 minutes and took the same amount of attempts as Gary Trent, who played 32, Ryan Rollins, who played 30. It's like they're just hoping it goes in multiple possessions in a row.
Yeah, no thanks. I don't want Andre Jackson Jr. shooting threes. You can't, like, it's fine. I mean, I like him on defense, and he's like a high flyer. I mean, he had that one against the Pistons where, you know, he went up and just like stuffed the guy. Now, granted, they called it a foul, but still, it's like that's the kind of stuff that I want Andre Jackson Jr. to do. But once I stopped shooting threes, I was like, all right, but we can't do that. We can't do that. I'm good. But like I said, I mean, look, the Blazers didn't have Shady and Sharp or, you know, Thibault. So it's like I just don't understand how it just looks like, you know,
they had them.
Your doors blown off by the Blazers. I mean, I guess the good news is they don't have to play them again until March, but still, I'm like, dude, you have the Blazers? Like, they literally just lost their coach due to a gambling investigation. We're getting blown off the floor by the Blazers. That was inexcusable to me. So there's not much more I could add. They were down double digits. I understand they went on a nice little 60-1 run, but still, it's like they were down like 18. They were down like 20. So it's like, how much does that really mean?
Yep.
You know, comebacks in the NBA rarely happen like that, where you're down like a huge margin. But I'm actually going to move on to the final topic of the podcast. We've kind of talked about some trades. I heard one that said that Milwaukee has shown interest in Sacramento Kings guard Zach LaVine. I mean, look, Zach LaVine's kind of been a Bucks killer throughout his career. And if there's one trade that I think Milwaukee should make, I would not hate that one.
Mhm.
Only because like he could create his own shot. Like he would kind of be able to. I'm not saying set up the offense, but I do think that he can do like what Middleton did, which is like he can defend, he can create, which I think that's kind of why Milwaukee's interesting because I think Horst and the ownership's looking at him like, oh shit, there's not a lot of people who can like have a bag on this
Mhm.
roster. Like nobody has a bag on that roster.
I know he was a rumor last year as well. He's one of those guys where it's like he'd be a good fit. He's 30. He's
Yeah.
not. He's still in his prime. I think he's averaging 23 and 2. He's shooting damn near 50%. So
Yeah.
hey, you never know.
Kill the sauce, man.
Yeah. Every game he plays, no matter that's like again Kevin Durant. I feel like we said earlier he gets better as he gets older. You never know. Some of these guys, high flyers. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. We were obviously going to keep this podcast short. We only had 2 games. There wasn't.
And they both sucked.
They both sucked. There really wasn't much for us to add. So, obviously Milwaukee, they're playing the NBA Cup games tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I believe are they at home to the Heat?
They're away for both games.
Away for both Heat and Knicks, I believe.
Correct. Yep. Today and then Friday.
Yep. So they're back to the NBA Cup games. Milwaukee's hoping to reclaim their throne. Without Giannis, I find that to be highly unlikely, but we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So, once again, a happy Thanksgiving to all and a happy holidays. And thank you guys for tuning into this special edition of the Milwaukee Bucks and Tap podcast. We'll see you next week.